The most prepared, the most disciplined, the most deserving, and the best coached football team did not win the game tonight. But I think we can say the most resilient team did. Notre Dame trailing 95 yards away from the end zone. Sam Hartman converts a 4th and 17 run for a first down, and ultimately it comes down to an Audric Estime 30-yard run with 31 seconds to go to give Notre Dame a 21-14 victory over Duke. Everything that we said about Duke and Mike Elko's team and Mike Elko and his coaching staff, it's all true. Over the course of, it's like last week, Tim. I mean, the most deserving team over the course of the game last week was probably Notre Dame. Tonight it was Duke, but reverse them. Notre Dame's 1-1 in those two games.
96-yard drive by Sam Hartman, and I was thinking to myself, Howard Cross is the game MVP, or as Mitchell Evans is the game MVP because he keeps it going. Let's give Sam Hartman some extra credit here. He's throwing to guys that aren't getting open right now. He's throwing to 3 wide receivers that play varsity, missing 3 or 4 wide receivers that play varsity. They shut down Audric Estime's inside run until the most important inside run of the game by Estime. They weren't going for a 30-yard touchdown. I thought that was a good question you asked. They were looking to run the ball and set up for a field goal. Huge moment for Estime on that offensive line, though, because the defensive tackles of Duke won the day against the Irish interior. Pre-snap penalties did not help Notre Dame in this contest, as you said. It seemed like a rudderless ship for a while, but boy, we talk about, if you want to call it a rudderless ship, one play, one life is their mantra, and that's what happened on that last drive because they needed it a couple times. They looked like, at 4th and 16, I did not think that was going to be possible. And Sam Hartman keeping his composure on that 17-yard run. I got to look back at it, Tim. I thought he pump faked a couple times, crossing the line of scrimmage to freeze defenders. That's genius if so. If not, it's just tough.
When we were walking off the field, I heard Zeke Correll say to his fellow offensive lineman, "That's the worst game I've ever played." And he had a couple false starts, and were there 8 pre-snap penalties? I mean, that is about as undisciplined as you can possibly be. And that's why we have to say, I don't know that they're the most deserving team. I thought Notre Dame was the most deserving team last week, but those pre-snap penalties, as the game wore on, and I asked Mitchell Evans this, as the game wore on, you started to think, okay, last week is catching up to them because Notre Dame was dominating the line of scrimmage early on, and they were up 10-0, but it should have been 17 or 20 or 24. Right. And when you leave that door open for a Mike Elko coach team, I have so much respect for him and what he's done and the thoroughness of his team. And you hate like crazy for Riley Leonard to suffer the injury that he did at the end. Hey, but Notre Dame forced a fumble, number 9 of the year, and they finally recovered one to end the game.
If you told me Notre Dame was going to be up 2-0 in turnovers and only win by 7 at the end of the game on Audric Estime run, I've been pretty surprised. In fact, I think I said the opposite in pregame incident analysis. But at one point I thought, man, this is tough for Notre Dame's defense because they pitch a first half shutout. They're wearing down a little bit in the second half. Elko and Duke, Riley Leonard, they just became a determined, we can pick up 4 yards, and then we go 4-4-20, 4-4-20. It was a really good game plan in the second half, but Howard Cross all game long, Maris Leofau, Riley Mills in the fourth quarter. The defense stepped up. They forced the punt they had to force, giving Notre Dame one chance to win. And as Sam Hartman said in there, that's what we needed, was that one chance to win. It's a snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Just happened for the Irish.
Yeah. We felt like when Duke took the lead on that drive, Notre Dame had backup personnel in there. Jaden Mickey was in there, and it just seemed like a really inappropriate time for them to go to those guys. But the people that you mentioned, Howard Cross is just, he won't be an All-American, but he plays All-American football for Notre Dame. Maris Leofau, who as we look over there is actually sitting having some Bojangles as we talk. That guy has become a tremendous college football player. For Notre Dame's sake, I hope he sticks around for another year. I would imagine he will because he hasn't had a lot of college experience. But the fortitude of this group, the fortitude of the offensive line, which again was getting beaten up. And when
Sam Hartman, great pass protection when he needed it on the last drive, and it had not been that way in the fourth quarter.
And amazingly, a hole opened up for Audric Estime to win the game because there were not very many as the game progressed.
Yeah, I vehemently disagree with what Coach Freeman said post-game, that he should have knelt down and kicked the field goal. This is not the NFL. Notre Dame needed that touchdown. You are not putting anything in the hands of a kicker that has missed a couple kicks in the last week. But it's hopefully that coaching point won't stick. He said he has a coaching point for him. I think Estime goes ahead and scores there. But yeah, it's at one point during the game, we were asking why do they keep giving the ball to Estime? Can they get something outside to Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price? And I still stand by that. But boy, he's the guy you trust at the end, and they were just trying to set up a field goal, but he burst through. It has to be an all-time gut punch for Duke football fans because this
unbelievable.
was going to be a crowning achievement for them.
Notre Dame was 3 of 15 on third down,
Yeah,
but we
felt
talked
worse.
about this. We talked about this pregame though. They were 3 of 3 on fourth down after going 0-2 last week, and so that was obviously critical. And of course, the most critical one was it 4th and 17?
4th and 16. I guess,
4th and 16. I was on the field by then, so I didn't have the numbers, but incredible resilience by a team that at the end of 8 quarters, when you go back to last week and then 4 this week, where that team must have been and some of those individuals must have been in terms of stamina, just hanging in there into the 8th quarter was amazing. And somehow they pulled it out over a really good Duke team. They're going to be very difficult to beat. For Duke's sake, I hope Mike Elko sticks around for a while. But
Yeah, because he can build a program.
yeah, but what he's doing it's incredible. The turnaround, and not just the one loss record, but the stats from a couple years ago, like 20 different categories. I think we talked about that pregame. So we could go on and on, the good and the bad. There was plenty of bad as the game came to a close, but one really good thing, and that was a 95-yard drive with the Sam Hartman run capped by the 30-yard Audric Estime run. Notre Dame wins 21-14 here at Wallace Wade Stadium.